Oh. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om and good evening from London. To say Lord is jnanam, but the Lord is I is vijnana. To say Lord is jnana, but the Lord is I is vijnana. Swami Chinmaya. What Gurudev is sharing is believing that I and Bhagavan are different, are separate, is Dvaita, is Jnana. But believing Bhagavan and I are the same, are one, is Advaita, or Vijnana. At a bhakti perspective, looking at the same quote from the lens of a devotee, Bhagavan shares in various places, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ramayana, that the highest form of puja, of worship, is Atma Nivedanam, where one is offering the Atma that is not absolute. It could be the body, the mind, the ego, and offering this to the Atma that is absolute. So any sense of separation is offered, and all that remains is oneness. Bhagavan Krishna is teaching Prince Arjuna to forget about himself. This is the 6 chapters of Srimad Bhagavad Gita we're now focusing on, not on Tvam. It's not about Prince Arjuna, it's about Tat, or Bhagavan Krishna. So he's teaching Prince Arjuna to forget about himself. And what this feels like for you and I is for us to forget about our selfishness. To forget about our selfishness, and making this even more specific, to forget about what do I get. Me focusing on the results, on the fruits. Instead, I follow prasada buddhi. Whatever I get, delight. Today, the last sutra we studied in Rishi Patanjali's Yoga Sutras was tataha kshiyate prakasha avaranam. That if one follows the practices of yoga, then kshiyate, what will be worn out is avaranam, that veiling, that ignorance, and what will remain is prakasha, light, joy. When we start forgetting about our selfishness, we have this prasada buddhi, and if you go deeper into this, it's not even about what do I get. I stop remembering what I gave. It's no longer about I gave this, I'm doing this. It turns into arpana buddhi. That it's my opportunity, it is my bhagya to be able to be closer and closer and closer to Bhagavan. Okay? We'll review what we studied last week. And I'm going to pause here. Is everyone able to see me and hear me clearly? Okay. We'll keep on trying, but do type in the chat room if it continues like that, because I'm all about efficiency and I don't want to speak if you're not if you're not connecting. What Bhagwan shared last week, Bhagwan shared in our studies last week, our equipments, that is the mind and the intellect, our mind is ever interpreting. Every experience of ours keeps on interpreting. This person said this person didn't do this, and on and on and on. And the intellect keeps on instructing. We should plan for this, we should get this, we should go there. And if we're always interpreting and instructing, there's no space to think. There's no time to think. There's no energy to think. And so, there is no reality for us. All of our space and time and energy is going into treating every experience of ours so real, we just keep interpreting and instructing. We are undoubtedly in Kali Yuga, a period of creation where all moves fast. And in this fastness, we don't realize that the equipments are being used, that we are not the equipments. We move too fast, we can't see that difference. Bhagavan had shared at the beginning of the chapter that all you need to know, in which everything is known, is reality. We have to slow down, step back, and see reality. Now, reviewing all of chapter 7. In chapter 7, we came to study that creation is an expression of Bhagavan. Bhagavan as spirit, para prakriti, and Bhagavan as matter, apara prakriti. Later on, what Bhagavan shares is that Maya, that which is not, has made the impossible possible, has made us forget that the Creator is all of the materials, the Creator is the spirit, and living in these materials, we've forgotten. Hence, avidya. Maya at a personal level is avidya, we've forgotten. Bhagavan shares for the person who is steady and sincere, they earn Bhagavan's kripa. They earn the Creator's grace, and the grace of Bhagavan also makes the impossible possible. We can be freed from Maya. But again, only by being steady and sincere, we start to remember that the materials around me, the materials in me are also divine. That's called Vidya. And we completed chapter 8 feeling that Prince Arjuna is becoming more and more and more of a jignasu. He wants to know more. He wants to know how he can be closer to Bhagavan. He's moving up that Navada Bhakti. It's not just about singing anymore. He wants to know, how do I become Bhagavan's servant? How do I become Bhagavan's friend? How do I become Bhagavan? And this is how chapter 8 begins. What is one of the most popular and powerful teachings of Sanatana Dharma? In brief. Advaita. And the message is Tat Tvam Asi. Yes, popular. People like to get tattoos of it. Powerful. It really does encompass what the Upanishads teach. And Srimad Bhagavad Gita has this layered upon it. The first 6 chapters deals with Tvam. The second 6 chapters deals with Tat. And chapters 13 through 18 deals with Asi. Now I'm going to add another layer here. Another popular and powerful message of Sanatana Dharma is Jiva, Jagat, and Jagadishvara. First 6 chapters focus on Jiva. Next 6 chapters deal with Jagadishvara. And the last 6 chapters is the Jagat. In other words, that's what connects the Jiva and Jagadishvara. Prince Arjuna begins chapter 8, like other chapters. He wants to know more. He wants to know, what is Jagadishvara? What is the Jagat? What is the Jiva? He specifically asks 7 questions. Please try to remember these 7 questions. The first question is, what is Brahman? And we're all thinking, we already know what Brahman is. And Arjuna's asking this in chapter 8. We know how to spell Brahman, but do we know what Brahman is? It's very different. He asks, what is Adhyatma? This we know too, Adhyatma Shastra, correct? Arjuna's questions are not technical. He wants to feel these answers. Question number 3 is, what is karma? Question number 4, what is adibhuta? Adibhuta. Question 5, what is adideva? I'm going to go back again because I can feel some of the stress waves coming through through Zoom right now. What is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? What is karma? What is adibhuta? What is adideva? Number 6 is, what is adiyagnya? Adiyagnya. And the last question relates to prayana kale. Prayana kale, which is, what should I do at the time of death? And that is really the focus of this chapter, is that last question. What should I do at the time of death? It's a beautiful question with an even more beautiful answer. But let's start answering these questions. What is Brahman? Brahman is Brihatvat. Brihatvat, which means that which is big. And the key way to understand Brahman, that which is big, is it's not qualified. Someone can have a big ego. It could be a big country, big house. It's always qualified, but that which is big implies there's no qualification. So really, Brahman means infinity. And another word for Brahman is akshara. Kshara means that which is small. Akshara means that which is not small. Brahman is that which is not small, and all of that kshara, all of that smallness, is within Brahman. Imagine the kshara being drops and Brahman being the ocean. Another way to understand Brahman comes out in chapter 12 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan calls Brahman as Kutastha. What does Kutastha mean? An anvil. And whenever you hear anvil, what should you think of? Wile E. Coyote. And cartoons, old cartoons where good, clean fun, where anvils were thrown at animals. But reincarnation, right? That Wile E. Coyote came back again and again and again. You see Tom and Jerry also. That's all principles of Sanatana Dharma, which we'll study. And finally, another way to understand Brahman is, at the age of 5, a child goes through a ceremony, a samskara called Akshara Abhyasa. And they learn how to write for the first time. And what do they write? Om. And the message is that the purpose of them writing, the purpose of education, is to know Om. Akshara means alphabet, but Om is also another name for Akshara. So it's showing us what we learned in chapter 7, that the only science that we really need to know, that is fundamental, is what we're studying. Can you still be happy if you don't know pharmacology? All the pharmacists are saying no. The answer is yes. Can you still be happy without knowing American history? Yes, you can still be happy. But can you be happy without knowing your nature? You're all saying yes. The answer is no to this. This is all that is to be known. Everything else is chutney. I've said that so many times now. It's not fundamental to one's health. Second question is, what is Adhyatma? And Swami Tejomayananda shares, Adhyatma is that which is Swabhava. That which is self, Swabhava, evident. That which you feel naturally. And if you think deeply about what you feel naturally, that is existence awareness. You cannot deny your existence. You cannot deny your awareness. Adhyatma means that which is the closest Atma. Atma also means body. Atma also means mind. But here it means that where there is no other Atma. And that is the self. Adhyatma also means changeless. When you were 7 years old and 47 years old and 70 years old, that sense of self never changed. All the other Atmas changed. The body changed, the mind changed, the ego changed. Bhava can also mean being. So when one is being, that is swabhava, there's no more becoming. Our whole lives we're trying to become thin, become popular, become knowledgeable. But for someone who is a vijnani, someone who has wisdom, there's no more becoming. They're just being. That which is most natural, correct? Swabhava. What is Brahman? Check. What is Swabhava? Check. Number 3, what is karma? Again, these are not technical questions. Bhagavan says karma is kshara that is directed towards akshara. Kshara that's directed towards akshara is karma. In other words, any thought, word, and action that is drawing you towards the infinite, towards swabhava, that's karma. And if it's not, it is not karma then. It is vikarma. If us going to school is not making us enlightened, if us going to work is not making us enlightened, if us being in the Bhagavad Gita course is not making us enlightened, it's not karma. It's vikarma. It's taking us away from Adhyatma, from Brahma. Becoming that which is being is fine, but becoming that which is becoming is not fine. Question 4, 5, 6. What is adhibhuta? We've already studied this. Adhibhuta, if you think of the word bhuta, bhuta means manifest, bhuta means element. Adhibhuta is apara prakriti, which we studied in the last chapter. So Bhagavan is telling Prince Arjuna as a reminder what he studied already, apara prakriti. Adideva is another word for Ishvara. Ishvara. Ishvara is also known as the total mind. So here, Bhagavan is referencing Adideva as the one who inspires work, the one who is working, the one who deserves the fruits of work, the one who governs creation, the one who governs action. Ishvara. At a macro level, and even at a micro level, all that I'm thinking and saying and speaking is because of Ishvara, because of that life principle. And number 6 is para prakriti. What is adi yajna? That is para prakriti. That is the higher form of Bhagavan, that is the higher form of God, spirit, that which enlivens matter. Everyone's fine? Okay. That was covered in sections 8.1 through 8.4. And now we shift to 8.5 through 8.8. And the real focus of this chapter comes out with the 7th question. What was the 7th question? Prayana kale. What should I do at the time of death? Okay, so let's make this more relative first. How should you celebrate your birthday?
Donate to Chinmaya.
Wonderful answer. He said what I was thinking. He said donate to Chinmaya mission. So really every day is everybody's birthday, correct? How we should celebrate our birthdays is to reflect on where we've come from and where we are going. We should celebrate our birthdays by reflecting on where we've come from and where we are going. Everyone can hear me and see me? We're frozen.
Speed is okay.
Can you ask everyone else who's using the internet to stop? Because it's going to kick me out of class very soon.
It's at 12 Mbps.
You can hear me and see me? Okay. I'm nervous because I can't see you moving. Everyone move their heads a lot. It's scary because you're frozen, so you look like zombies moving moving like that. Okay, I'm still going to wait. You all keep reflecting on your notes till I have a good connection here.
Everything shut.
Okay, we're going to still keep pausing. I'm going to mute myself. Next time we have to be more careful about this. It's wasting everyone's time right now. No, even last time there was. That's why I feel like we should be closer to the router. Yeah. So it's my fault. We should be closer to the router. Okay, I'm going to start again. Everyone can hear me and see me clearly? Please nod. Okay. So I was going back to what I said about how do we celebrate our birthday. We reflect on where we've come from and where we go. And not just on our birthday. I'll tell you two other important days to reflect on this. One is Mahashivratri. In many traditions, Bhagavan Shiva is the Adi Guru. He is the first in the Guru Shishya Parampara. And then for us in a more tactile way is Guru Purnima. That is where Bhagavan manifests as Bhagavan Vedavyasa. And then our own birthday. So this is all opportunities for us to reflect on where we've come from and where we're going. If you're paying attention, the first 6 questions that Prince Arjuna asks are about where he's come from. Okay, and he's gotten answers about that. Brahman, action, creation. But now he wants to know, where is he going? Where we are going is determined by karma. Where we are going is determined by our thoughts and our words and our actions and some basic principles about karma. Every action creates results. So what I'm living right now is a result of my past thoughts and words and actions. The quality of my actions will determine the quality of my results. If I'm living miserably right now, maybe I had miserable thoughts and words and actions in the past. Another principle is the karta naturally becomes the bhokta. If I'm acting, those results are not going to accrue to you. In the same way, if you're doing something noble, I can't say that I deserve this too. You know where that works only? In the karma kanda, where by proxy, I can perform a ritual for you. But when it comes to deeper aspects of life, if I'm sad, that doesn't mean that you have to be sad. If I'm enlightened, you don't get enlightened. This has to do with swa. This is our own journey. Bad actions cannot be cancelled by good actions. In the same way, good actions cannot be cancelled by bad actions. Whatever I acted the intention I acted with, the result is going to come. The implication being here is maybe we were more ignorant before, and so we were engaged in selfishness. And we acted in such a way, spoke and thought in such a way, and now we're trying to become more aware. The results are going to come to us by us being more dharmic now. We become stronger to embrace what is going to come to us. That's why it's important not to say, oh, I was like that, I'm still going to be like that, this is going to happen. That's complacency. Sure, I was like that, but I'm making myself stronger to embrace, to learn from how I was in the past. The way we thought and spoke and acted has created the present circumstance. The city you live in, the home you live in, the people you're around, the way you look, all of that has been created by you. For those in our Atma Bodha course, we called the gross body as that which is the fructification of our past karma. That's amazing that we have created our present, and why that's amazing is because we can create our future then. You can be anyone you want. You can have any life you want moving forward. This is all karma. This is all in life. And to really understand life, one has to understand death also. An extension of karma is rebirth. In chapter 8, Bhagavan also elaborates on rebirth. And he shares here that we will keep on being reborn until we are free. Until we are free from samsara, we are free from the cycle of ignorance, we will keep on being reborn. And that should be a clear message to us that, again, not to be complacent, the only way to not be born into limitation is to be liberated. Again, about extending our thoughts to rebirth, we are born in a particular body and circumstance to learn. To learn more and more and more that I am more than this body, that I am Brahman. That's why Arjuna wanted to know, what is Brahman? What is Adhyatma? Does that apply to me? And Bhagavan is saying, yes, it does apply to you. In regards to rebirth, we have an option to be born into 1 out of 8.4 million different types of bodies, different types of wombs. 8.4 million, 84 times 100,000. So one can be born as a frog, one can be born as a tree, one can be born as an alien on Mars. One can be born in different dimensions. And that's another point too, is we can be born not just in different forms, we can be born in different circumstances, meaning dimensions. I can be born in Patala. I can be born in Brahmaloka. So karma has created the present, and the way I think and speak and act is also creating my future, specifically my rebirth. So action and rebirth has been focused on, and now death. Okay, so I introduced death by saying that to understand action, death has to be there. We focused on rebirth, but let's just focus on death. The last thought that we have will determine how we die and how we are born. The last thought we have. And Swami Tejamananda writes so thoughtfully that the profits or loss from the 2017 year, that's going to be your first entry in your 2018 year, correct? You're going in with this profit or with this loss. You're going in black or you're going in red. So the last thought we have will determine how tomorrow will be, how our next birth will be. When people would go to Swami Chinmaya and say such and such person has died, when people tell us that, we always say, how did they die? Heart attack, cancer, accident. He wouldn't be concerned with that. He would say, how did they live? Because more important than how they died is how they lived, because he's already thinking not about the past, he's thinking about what will their next embodiment be like. Swami Tejamananda says, Some of us live like we're never going to die. We engage in extreme sports. We eat so much junk food, and on and on and on, right? I'm just not going to die. And then some people live like they are always going to die, essentially. They live in such fear, such sheltering. And both ways of living are useless. One is alive, one knows one has to die, and so one should plan. Our outer environment will help our inner environment, and our inner environment is going to come up most purely in that moment of high tension, which is when we're about to die. Because some people, the tricksters, they think, okay, if I say Jai Shri Ram, if I say Hey Ram right as I'm dying, then I can be indulgent my whole life and just think about Bhagavan Rama when I die, and I'll be like Mahatma Gandhi, correct? Does that sound very practical to you? If Mahatma Gandhi said Hey Ram with bullets in his chest, it's because he said it when bullets weren't in his chest also. He said Hey Ram his whole life so that in that moment of high tension, that was natural to him. So outer environments where there's satsang and there's seva, swadhyaya, those outer environments keep that inner environment thinking along the lines of karma, Brahma, and so we go there. In the Yoga Sutras, in the first section, Rishi Patanjali says, when you're with happy people, you should be friendly with them. When you're with sad people, you should be compassionate with them. When you're with people who are responsible, you should be supportive. When you're with people who are irresponsible, you should be indifferent. And the implication of what he's sharing is the real gauge of your inner strength is with people. Because people create that pressure in our lives. Not the sun, not the wind, not finances, but people. They create that pressure. So death is like that for us. Bhagavan Krishna tells Prince Arjuna, this is a most wonderful part of a shloka. This is shloka 7 of chapter 8. He says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhya cha. I'll say that more slowly. Tasmat, which means therefore. Sarveshu. Sarveshu means all times, all places, all. What should you... Sarveshu kaleshu. So all places, all times. Mam, me, anusmara. Not just smara. Don't just remember me. Anusmara, remember me carefully. And yudhya. Yudhya means engage in your responsibilities. For Arjuna, it's fight. And you can even interpret the word cha means not just yudhya, meaning in your immediate responsibilities, but even your non-immediate responsibilities. Guruji shares in Uttarakanda that Kakabushundi, he's one of the rishis in Ramayana, he says in the morning, what I do is I engage in dhyana. He contemplates. As the day carries on, he engages in japa. As the day carries on more, he engages in puja. And at the end of the day, he engages in katha. So you see in the morning, when the intellect is strongest, what is he doing? Dhyana, contemplation. Then it shifts to the mind. He starts engaging in japa. Then it shifts to the body. He engages in puja. And when tamas is running high, katha. He listens to the stories, the glories of Bhagavan, and then he sleeps at 8:59 and wakes up at 3. That detail's in there in Ramayana also. Through this simple example from Bhagavad Gita, from Ramayana, what should one do at the time of death? They should remember Bhagavan, because that's how we're going to be reborn or not be reborn. So how do I remember the Creator at the time of death? I have to start now. In all times and in all places. Oh.